This is David. He imagines himself talking to a beautiful girl in a schoolyard. During the lessons, teachers tell students what horrors await them in their adult life. David loves an old black and white TV series called Pleasantville, where everything always good. Unlike his divorced parents, the Parkers love and respect each other. His sister Jennifer is the complete opposite of the guy. She invites a local guy to her house. Her plans to start the evening by watching a concert on TV are interrupted by David, who wants to watch the show that he's been waiting for. During the struggle for the remote, it crashes and the TV can no longer be turned on. Suddenly someone rings the doorbell. A TV repairman appears on the doorstep, but nobody calls it. It turns out that this man is also a fan of Pleasantville. He sees how strongly the young man fancies the series, and offers him a special remote, giving him a full immersion effect. The battle for the remote resumed. Suddenly David and Jennifer find themselves on the other side of the screen. Now they are brother and sister from the TV series. Now they are Parkers, living in a small American town in the 50s. The mysterious man appears on TV and says to gift for them because David knows the show so well. But then the old man leaves, seeing their anger, and promises to come back when they reconsider their behavior. The brother and sister are called to breakfast by their new mother Betty. George, their father, is already sitting at the table. Their standard breakfast is more like a buffet. On the way to school, the girl gets mad, and Bud invites her to start adopting. Next we see a fire truck. Firefighters rush to get the cat out of the tree. This is how they work, because in Pleasantville, nothing ever burns. Mary Sue quickly forgets her sadness when Skip Martin, captain of the basketball team, arrives by car. In a geography class, the girl asks what is outside the Pleasantville, but it only makes everyone smile, because everyone knows that at the end of the main street is the beginning of this street. On the basketball court, the guys always get in the ring, but it's also on the table to miss. After learning from him that Mary Sue might not go on a date with him, Skip is nervous and suddenly misses. Realizing that the world of Pleasantville may be destroyed, Bud persuades her sister to go on a date with Skip, as it should be on the plot. During the conversation, it's also revealed that the local books have completely clean pages, Bud on his way to work at the diner. Because the guy was late, the usual schedule was broken. His boss Bill didn't know what to do and kept wiping the table. In the evening, Skip and Mary Sue arrive at the diner, where the guy admits that he has never held a girl's hand because he doesn't like to rush things. Mary Sue decides to take matters into her own hands and invites Skip to the lovers' parking lot. Bud understands what's going on, but doesn't have time to stop them. While everyone is looking at the lake, Skip and Mary Sue do what they have to do. Scared, Skip can't figure out what just happened to him. Bill knocks on Parker's house and brags to Bud that he's been doing things differently all day. When Skip pulled up to the house, he saw something amazing, a red rose. The next day he told the team in details what happened last night. After that, no one could throw the ball into the ring. Mary Sue teaches her friends new words. It also has consequences. At night the Love's parking lot was drowned in groans, and the defeated team lost for the first time. The city gradually takes on color. Bill realizes the monotony of his life and wants to change it. It turns out that he is not bad at drawing. The man in the barbershop wonder how a basketball team with the motto beat anyone lost. Betty is interested in all these changes in town. She also learns from her daughter what sex is like. Her husband doesn't do it with her, so she learned from Mary Sue another way to give herself pleasure. The woman followed her advice, and the world immediately became colored, even the tree caught fire. But firefighters don't know what a fire is. The firemen didn't move when they heard about the fire, but when they heard about the cat, they moved immediately. Bud showed them how to put out the fire. The guy gets the medal for bravery. Margaret then runs up to him and gives him a cookie. Although in a series she baked cookies for another guy. Some people are already painted from head to toe. Everyone at the diner was wondering how Bud knew how to put out a fire, and the answer that he did in his whole town only confused everyone, because they had no idea what is outside of Pleasantville. A brother and sister tell everyone what his or that book is about, and suddenly empty pages are filled with letters. After that, a huge queue lined up in the library. The mayor comes to George Parker and discusses the appearance of twin beds in the city, and the fact that people are now giving up their unloved jobs. The husband asks his wife to bake a pie, but she doesn't answer. She's ashamed because she too has become colored. She hides it with grey makeup. Bud brings Bill from the library an album of paintings. He's delighted with such art, but he regrets not being able to use the same colors. Bud asks Margaret out on a date and she agrees. The boy is thrilled, so he refused to return to his world when the TV master suggested. Mary Sue is surprised that she still hasn't colored because she spent 10 times as much time in the parking lot as any other girl. Meanwhile, the most romantic place in town has also become the most painted. Betty comes to Bill when he paints a picture. She's amazed at the beauty of the painting and accidentally reveals her secret. It brings them together. Over time, Mary Sue stopped playing with Skip and chose books. George came home, except there's no one to meet him. His wife poisoned for Bill. At the same time, another unbelievable event called rain happens in the city. George continues to worry about the absence of his wife and dinner. He goes to the bowling club where he tells the mayor and the other men about the nightmare he is facing. He scares the others with his story. The mayor is calling for action. Betty spent the night with Bill, who also became colored, as the interior of the diner. Finally, Mercy was colored, and something happened to the other guys. Only sad body is still composed of shades gray. At home, George demands that Betty keep Tina the same, but the woman disagrees. She teaches her husband how to use the oven and leaves. A car with a couple of black and white guys ride through town, reminding everyone of the town meeting. The meeting is exclusively attended by older black and white people, and the mayor suggests separating the pleasant thing from unpleasant. Only black and white people are allowed in the stores now. Betty has moved in with Bill. A portrait of naked Betty is painted on the window at the diner, causing much displeasure. A woman is surrounded and abused by teenagers, but defends her easily because the locals don't know what a fighter in blood are. Right after that, the young man finally acquires color. Black and white people break a window, smash up the diner and burn all the books. The colored people barricade themselves in the diner. At the next meeting, the mayor proposed a new set of laws. The library and the lower parking lot are now closed. It's forbidden to sell double beds, and most importantly, the only colors allowed in the city are white, black and grey. Overnight, he with Bill painted a huge wall, displaying everything that has happened in Pleasantville lately. The outraged residents sent the artist to jail. George is still convinced that Betty went out for a walk 3 days ago. Artists are judged for damaging city property and using forbidden colors, but say the world is diverse and full of emotions. It can all be pleasant. George paid attention to how beautiful his wife became. The man cries and became colored too, but say that what happens is impossible to stop. All is a reasonable and pleasant mayor breaks down, and immediately becomes colored, after which he escapes from the courtroom. Townspeople go outside and see that the city is completely colored. The world outside the city is shown on colored TV. David is going home, and Jennifer has decided to stay in this world. The guy says goodbye to Margaret and his temporary mother. David presses the remote button and disappears, finding himself at home exactly 1 hour after the last time he left. In the comments tell me if you like this story, how much would you rate it on a 10-point scale, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell.